Alright, would you want me to sit in the middle?
I think Robert wanted you to sit kind of like right there and somewhere in the front,
Okay.
so that they can just kind of see you, so they can,
Yeah.
look
Okay.
at you.
No
I'll
problem.
probably sit like right over on this side just to give another vantage point while he's speaking, and then we'll swap out.
Alright, you got, it's just him speaking, right?
So he'll speak first, and then I will speak on the back half.
Okay, no problem.
Yep.
Then I'll be right here and then I'll try my best to ask questions.
Cool, yeah, and if not,
Alright, no problem. What time will you guys start?
probably just shortly after sale. I don't really have anybody popping in, so
Okay, sure.
we can work on that.
Alright, amazing. Yeah, it is nice out. Finally.
Yeah, and I was just saying, sometimes when the weather is just starting to get nice, we'll have people like show up or register and then like decline registration.
Really?
We have nice things to do, it's beautiful out, like, okay, alright.
You guys should leave it open only in winter then.
I know, it's like when it's snowing, when the weather's bad, people have nowhere else to be.
Not for real. Oh, wait, excuse me? So I'm gonna be the audience member, and I was wondering, is there a specific question you want me to ask at the end that might help the audience or something?
I'm gonna say, because I didn't memorize the whole deck, it's hard to give you questions without remembering the slides. I'm gonna say no. What I might do on the slide is like, hey, a question that we get a lot from our cadets is like, and I'll like expand on a thing that maybe someone would want to know.
Okay.
But long answer short, I'm gonna say no.
There's nothing in mind?
Not off the top of my head right now.
Okay, no problem. I'll still try to ask questions at the end.
Okay, and if there's something that you like, if you have questions about the slide yourself, I just want it to feel more natural than like scripted.
Yeah,
I hate
absolutely.
scripted stuff, so I'm like, if there's no questions, there's no questions. That's okay.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, and we'll see how it goes. We'll give them a buffer maybe if
Yeah,
people are
couple
on.
minutes.
Okay, no
And
problem.
not-
But it might just be recorded.
Alright, you got it.
We'll find some out.
Okay.
And we have good intro music, so of course that.
What you gonna ask them?
I don't know, we'll see. You did say like mention current events, so.
Don't mention current.
I can mention
No,
current?
yeah, I prefer not,
Okay.
just for like the longevity of the recording.
Oh,
If that makes
okay.
sense.
I misunderstood. I thought
Yeah.
you wanted me to.
Please don't. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like the one thing, like, yeah, politics, current event stuff, we can
Okay, sure.
keep that to this.
No problem.
We have some chairs, if we wanna do like a fireside chat kind of thing.
Yep, just let us know when you're ready.
I think we are gonna wait a little past 6 in the event.
Okay,
that
sounds
someone
good.
calls. Yeah, just
Sure,
a
sure,
small
yeah.
buffer.
I was gonna say, call a quick call for it, like a couple of the recruits or something. I was gonna say, we have the past ceremonies of like the, like when they, I don't know what you guys call it, but when they get the coin and all that stuff, so.
Oh, the commissioning ceremony?
Yeah, we could actually insert, some selected photos or different things of that too, to show your side of your recruiting, and then show this is like what it's like when they actually
Oh,
come into your, service and that kind of stuff too, so.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and you can talk to Robert about that, so.
We'll be back in here in like 2 or 3 weeks.
What's that?
We'll be back here in a few weeks to do our final ceremony
Oh, yeah.
and send everybody home.
Will that be a graduation then, or a pinning ceremony?
Ours is May 8th is
It-
our ceremony.
Okay.
And then I think they graduate the next day.
Okay.
Shit, yes I am.
We already had paper shits though.
What's up? Yeah, one, no, in the afternoon. What's up? I think they do.
perfect. I can take it. I can take it in that case. Saturday, what's your restriction? It's office hours too, right?
It's on Thursdays.
Thursday only? Perfect. I'll take it. Thank you.
And then Sunday. I'll look at it.
This one's so what happened with the Midwest?
I think it's here.
Is it?
I don't know, but that's what Georgia.
It was supposed to be our event. Is it on the 29th? I think
It's 26.
it's 26.
Sunday.
Okay, I'll take it then. Thank you.
Should I get my good sir?
Don't worry about it. I got you.
I shaved to come down here, okay?
Now I can't relate, but I can appreciate, the ceremony that
Okay.
Did you ever run into Henry White?
Man, that name
He plays
sounds,
lacrosse at West Point.
that name sounds
He's also ABA.
familiar.
What year did you graduate? He's a senior.
I've never worked with him.
Is it Campbell? I think he maybe took a band out of Campbell. I don't know where else he is. But
It's a small community.
it is. That's why I asked. But I know you were there for the same time.
And by now, I think my cohort is under 40% of our commission class. And of the air defenders, there's like, I think 60 of us on air defense, there's probably like 10 of us left for our year yet. Which is great.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
that
fantastic.
sounds great, guys.
In the next 10, 9, 10 years. I think he got picked up for acquisitions.
Oh, he beat it.
Yeah.
A lot of people beat it. Surprised he got selected, not because of his skills, but because air defense doesn't like to release people. They
Made it
say
work.
they don't let people, my group has never had a town hall, so maybe his class, yeah, it's hard to believe that's in the range. I tried for open space president.
Oh, yeah. You were so important.
And I said, okay, got it.
I think he's the only air defender we have.
Hard to work out is pretty good.
Really good?
Pretty good?
Yeah, like regular office. Hours.
No, ridiculous field stuff.
Fruish.
Hmm?
Fruish. Feel?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's pretty good.
great. When I travel, I work quite a few hours. Like I'll work a regular day and then whatever evening is, so it feels like extra hours there, but.
So you're like unwatched in the street, right? You're like on your own.
Yeah, make it rules.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big deal.
My last job was like that as well, so it was nice to like have one more job before.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it, just be.
Yeah, I am available packing. PTO your own.
Yeah,
What's the best part?
that's the big one.
Yeah. Although I don't love doing PT, but.
It's a great, band for a very long time.
Especially after here, I was like, hey, listen, I've been doing MPT for a while, more than I thought I would at this point. Yeah, just you guys let us know when you're ready then, and, okay. I'll do my best to be engaged. Sound check 1, 2. Nice and loud. Good.
Do you mind standing for?
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry.
If we're not going to use this, we just move this out entirely. Right.
I was on the way.
It's just seemingly heavy. It's like 30, 40 pounds.
They weigh a lot heavier than they
Yeah,
look.
that guy coming
I
out.
had this one new recruit in our group one time, and he was a smaller guy than I was. And he was like, no, I'm a guy, I must get this. And he goes, oh, and see, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So he nearly dropped it. It was funny. So yeah, they are pretty heavy.
Since we're recording it for a particular group, do you want to just pretend like we're talking to Minnesota, or maybe I just don't know who else is going to see this recording, to be honest with you.
Yeah, my brief really wouldn't change much at all.
I don't think mine would too much either.
And I do have a slide about the money branches, just in general.
Oh, great! I don't think I threw one in there because I'm like, hey, look at it. I don't want to do.
I can catch that and
Okay.
just speak.
Like a
RTC and West Point.
Go overview. Okay, that's fine.
Did you have to go to CST last summer?
I did,
Great time.
but I got lucky. I've only gone once in 3 summers.
That's really good.
Well, I gained it a little.
Yeah.
I got lucky. But never again.
Yeah. Fort Knox is
I
not.
was like, okay, this is rough. It is. It's just hot and humid every single day.
It's gross.
This is pretty bad here, actually.
Yeah, I think I went like the end of June and was there all of July. It's disgusting.
I went end of May into June, and it was still, it was bad, yeah. We were in the field this weekend, and it was cold.
Where do you all go?
Ripley,
Okay, yeah.
so either like Thursday to Sunday, but it was cold. I was like, I don't know what's worse, I don't know, the cold is worse, or like the hot and humid, in some ways it's worse too. I
How's the
don't,
middle?
at least there's no bugs in the cold.
I think my junior year, our big spring MTS, they just burned Fort Riley. The animals were in it, so everybody's wet weather here. Mine still to this day, it's like black steam from all of the landing in the, what used to be clubs.
Sorry.
Anytime, just take a good look, sip. Well, thank you for joining us. My name is Major Eric Keeney, and I'll be giving a presentation on your opportunities within the Minnesota State ROTC. And a lot of the information does apply to other ROTC programs if you want to go to a different school. However, I'm going to be talking on some special things that our program happens to offer. So, in a nutshell, ROTC is a 4-year program, and it can be accelerated depending on your academic year and other requirements that you complete. Sorry, technical error. Let's redo the recording, and we might just do cues for the slides if it's going to be inconsistent for. Okay, so we'll scrap the recording, restart it, and then I can just say next, please, to cue the next slide instead, because this looks like it's not going to go next consistently enough
Sounds good.
to rely on it. That's okay, it's pretty far. Quick.
then I'll just, would you like verbal cue, or just like next please? Are the easiest? Let's do it like that, okay. And we will start again, and that's better, now I have one in my hands. Good afternoon, my name is Major Eric Pini, and I'm going to be here to talk to you about some ROTC opportunities, and particularly what's offered here at Minnesota State Mankato. Next please. ROTC is typically a 4-year program, however it can be a 2 or 3 depending on your academic year. And what it really does is it offers you scholarship opportunities paired with military training and ultimately culminating in officership. At the completion, you go through all this leadership and training to commission as a 2nd lieutenant in one of our 3 components, whether it be National Guard, Reserves, or active duty, depending on your preferences and choices and things you want to do. But at the end of the day, it's a leadership opportunity and it can be a lifelong profession. People who are most eligible is really high school students. From 17 years old onward, you should probably start applying around junior year. And senior year, you get kind of notified of scholarship opportunities, getting accepted, enrollment in college. You have to be a U.S. citizen, have a minimum 2.0 GPA, and I'm going to say a big one is get medically qualified to be able to remain enrolled. So you go through a kind of medical screening process to make sure that you're physically capable of going through the training and staying within the career. Next, please. Our program in specific, very proud to say, we won in 2017 and 2 years ago the Arthur Award for the best program in our brigade. We have 8 brigades and we got number 1 in ours, and we were in the top 8 in the nation for retention particularly. We have the highest retention from freshman to senior year. And I like to think of it as the people in our Minnesota community, in our local community, they don't quit. So we're very lucky that we got the benefits of retaining a lot of our freshmen throughout the entire 4 years, and through some tough training. This school in particular has a significant amount of undergraduate programs, master's and doctoral programs, but we are most known for our aviation, education, nursing, and there's a good forensics program here. However, all the programs are good. Those are just ones that I think our school is a little bit more known for that other universities don't carry. And college ratings, a good admissions rate, and particularly affordable state university in comparison to a lot of other big universities. So I think that also contributes to the retention is it's affordable for people to complete all 4 years without it being a huge financial burden. Next, please. This is probably one of my favorite slides because it shows a lot of stuff our department has built over the last 3 to 4 years that are special benefits to the cadets here at Minnesota State Mankato that not all universities and other ROTCs have. It could be also like different resources and things, but I'd like to walk through things that you have that others might not for this program. Starting in the fall, we actually will have a partnership with the university dietitian. There are height and weight standards that cadets need to meet, and the dietitian is going to be assigned to anyone who is deemed at risk or non-compliant to coach them at a dietitian level how to take care of the body, eat, meal plan. These are professional paid services that are going to be available to our cadets to make sure that they can meet their height and weight goals. All of these are nested in the Army's H2F initiative, so we make sure that all these benefits directly translate to something that's going to be helpful in the Army later on. We have the exercise psychology, which we've had a pretty intimate relationship with over the last few years, a few times a semester, every year group, every class. They come to a lot of our training, physical events, and they teach cadets on what are challenging and stressful moments. We work through it. We work through the psychology of it, how to plan, how to mitigate the anxiety that comes with like tested events and maybe things that we're not very good at, and how to mentally work through and prepare so that it doesn't kind of keep us from performing. So we do a lot with exercise psychology. We have a special relationship with the weight room. We get, before the gym opens at the university, we have reserve hours where we go and do strength training once a week. That's a big deal to be able to have the weight room without anyone in the university using it early in the morning. Exercise science, 2 or 3 years, we actually have grad students who look at the Army's physical fitness test and they develop and help with the programming that we do in the mornings so that what we're doing throughout the entire semester translates to doing well on the physical test. And it's scaled and we have a lot of good load progression, and we saw a lot of really great benefits that people who know what they're doing at the graduate level are running and helping us with our fitness plans. We got university chaplains at all the schools from Bethany, Gustavus, and Minnesota State that come to our events and also provide religious support to our students, whatever religious background they may have. For philosophy and ethics, a lot of our military science courses cover leadership and ethics in war, in garrison environments. Really, it's just generalized leadership and management abilities of how to navigate social settings in a professional manner that's good for the whole team. We do have lots of American Legion and Veterans of Foreign Wars like posts across Mankato, New Ulm, St. Peter that donate a lot of scholarships to our cadets every semester. And in return, we do go volunteer and help them with a lot of their events, and it's a way to kind of connect with older generations of military service members with what was going to be the newest generation. So we try to keep that partnership open with a lot of these organizations. And on post specifically, we have the Veterans Resource Center that offers a space for not just ROTC cadets, but we have like service members and former service members who use it as a personal space to also navigate college. You know, maybe they were in the military for a few years and then they're coming to college a little later, like in their mid-20s, and they want some help navigating some of the processes. So we have a special center that helps navigate university life as a new student for military people. I think that covers all the highlights here. Some other fun, we got a lot of fun things that happen this upcoming week. We even have cooking classes for, I remember when I was that age and I didn't know how to cook or do things, and we now have paid cooking classes once a semester for every class, where it shows, hey, here's how to make a budget, here's how to cook simple things in a tasty way that are good for you. And also, I'm gonna say building just confidence in the kitchen is a huge part of cooking. It's just not being intimidated by cooking. So in addition to military things, a lot of our Minnesota State Mankato specific programs, I think are a lot of life and adult skills that are helpful to our students no matter what they choose to do in the military or whatever they do in the civilian world. Next please. Okay, so what does my life look like as a cadet? And I'm gonna try to keep it real simple, and we can have more detailed questions at the end. But our classes start off very basic. Year 1, we got our freshman year. It is teaching you Army 101. Here's how to do uniform stuff. Here's what the ranks are. Here's a really big overview of what you think you're getting into. And it's a really good entry-level courses and fitness, so people can make a decision. I always tell people I'm not a recruiter, I'm a teacher. So I think that you should be very upfront honest freshman year with people so that, hey, is this a good fit for me or not? Let's give you a very accurate representation of kind of what you're getting into. If you choose to stay and you make it into your sophomore year, we add a little bit more Army tactics training. Still more at the overview level, but we're building individual skills, fun stuff like map reading and learning how to shoot guns and leadership at a smaller level for those who think that this is something they want to do. And I think sophomore year is a lot of fun and really a big decision point for a lot of cadets. Because as you go to your junior year, the goal is to get contracted. Contracted is what gets you your benefits and your money. You can get contracted your freshman year, but you must be contracted by junior year to stay in the program, or we have to cut you loose because you're too far in the timeline. So realistically, the first 2, I think of it as a no strings attached experience. Junior year, you need to make a choice. Junior year is the most rigorous in terms of training and assessments. You need to pass all your fitness stuff, you need to be the right height and weight, and all your individual skills. You should be mastering a lot of them because you get graded, assessed, and stacked against your peers on a national level. So junior year is a buckle down, I need to be good at what I'm doing, and you get a grade for stuff in a more serious way. At the end of junior year, I'm gonna say it, arguably one of the culminating events of the entire 4-year experience is advanced camp at Fort Knox. You go for, it just got revised, the entire setup. They are down now to the mid-20s for the amount of days there. So they took off maybe a week from the original, from last year's. But it is no longer an instructional phase. You are there to show, I know how to lead my weapon squad. I know how to read maps at night. I know how to shoot this gun. I know how to do all of these basic things that we've been talking about for really 2 or 3 years. You get stacked against your peers nationally, and that kind of determines which component you go into, which branch you go into, and it really shapes your career, how you perform at this summer event. So think of it as a final for our OTC in a weird way, because you also still have your senior year. And that is when the cadets, because I've been fortunate enough to see cadets go from freshman to senior year, they are so different senior year from when you meet them freshman year. They are young adults, they're responsible, and they're very competent at a lot of the planning and execution of things that, you remember them from a few years before, and they're different people that are ready to go out and lead younger people. Your senior year, a lot of planning and running the training for your freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. They run the fitness training, they run the military training, they plan, they resource it. So it's like you are now mentoring and training all the younger cadets, and that is arguably one of the best parts to see that happen in terms of maturity of the cadets. Next, please. So ROTC specifically, I view it as a more flexible version of what your next presentation is going to be in terms of how much of my personal life am I attaching to Army stuff. I will break down that you're most of your time, if you're a civilian and you're going to do your normal stuff that we always tell our cadets, your priority is your academics. You're here to get your degree. You must pass all your classes and get your degree. If you have bills, you work your job and you need to get your job and pay your bills and go to school. However, there is a balance where you do need to meet ROTC requirements, but I will say that our program in particular is very flexible and understanding, like, hey, there are demands in life, and we're going to make it work so that you can do both. We have an example of one of the busiest days of the week. For us, it's Thursdays. We do an early morning workout, 5:45 to 7, but we do work out 3 days a week. You go to your normal university classes, roughly 8 to 10. You come to one of our classes, which can be 2 to 3 hours, right, once a week. Not too bad. And then you go back the rest of the afternoon to whatever your other major classes are. So you really are only in our academic classes once a week, sometimes twice if it's a split class. And then on Thursdays from 4 to 6, we go out and we put on our uniforms and we need to go and do actual, think of it as if you're taking chemistry and you have a lab, it's a lab for the Army stuff where we're going to apply whatever we did in class in person. We're actually going to put our hands on equipment and we're going to do the thing that we were theoretically talking about earlier in the week. And then I'm going to say almost all of your weekends are free, minus any volunteering you want to do. And once a semester, we go out and we play Army in the Woods at a field training exercise. And I think most of the time, I think the cadets really end up liking it because of how much they're spending with their peers. But it is only really one semester, or not whole semester, one weekend a semester, so that people can still work and have a personal life. Next, please. Okay, over the next topics, I'm going to do some wave tops because they are very particular to if cadets even pursue this after commissioning. If you get admitted to a grad program and you don't want to go straight into the military service aspect, you can do an ed delay and go into a specialized branch or pursue certain graduate degrees before you go and do your Army branch. So that's a big incentive so that people don't feel like they're putting their careers or other things on hold too long. Next, please. This is that basic camp. I think we're down to maybe 24, 25 days now. It's mostly a good time. If you can get through that, and so you can get through a lot of things. And the success rate is really high from our program in particular because I think we do prepare everyone pretty well for that. Next, please. This is the advanced camp. Next, please. Okay, so this is actually one of the big incentives that I think our cadets, why the competition matters and they want to do well is they want to go to the cool Army schools. They want to, or they have airborne, they want to jump out of airplanes with parachutes, okay? And I want to clarify a little bit. They want to rappel out of helicopters. You have combat diver, very competitive school. You go and do basically survival swimming. You get qualified with them. We had one cadet for the first time make it through mountain warfare this last summer. Big deal. They are scaling the mountains and learning how to survive in those kind of environments. Sapper does kind of engineering and explosives type of training. We had one cadet 2 years ago who made it through. It's a big deal when a cadet makes it through these. These are real Army schools. General warfare training just opened up for cadets, and we also every year send someone to West Point's cadet field training to get a different flavor of training and experience and exposure to other cadets. Next, please. We do have one cadet who has done this for 3 semesters and the summer for Russian. He's done semester abroads. In the summer, he goes to Kazakhstan and a few other countries. He got insanely proficient in Russian through this program, and he's loved it. So we have cadets who are interested in what is essentially a defense language immersion at the cadet level, which is a really big deal to be given that opportunity because these are essentially graduate level language courses that directly apply to the military. But there's 15 countries that you can apply for. This is one of, I think, one of the cooler opportunities that exists. Next, please. This is an optional event. If you want to go see what a real Army unit does, you can apply and go spend 30 days at a real Army unit before your senior year to see what kind of locations you like. Is this the branch you're interested in? It's like a trial internship to just see the real Army before your senior year. Next, please. Lots of other specific niche internships that are available. The point of it is that if you have an interest, the Army has a thing that can apply to you. Right? There's all these little programs and niche things that are available that maybe are not as broadly advertised, but if you have something, we can find a thing to suit your needs. And next, please. And for those of you who are watching the recording, go ahead and scan. And it seems a little silly that I'm going to spend so much time on this social media QR code. Our program has gone viral multiple times on Instagram, partially because we have one of the best PAO cadets, I think, in the region. But they find trends and things that happen on, I feel older, so I'm, on TikTok and all these things, and they make a cadet RTC version of it. And I know one of our reels has like millions and millions of views, and it was ridiculous. So if you want to see what we're doing, this is really a great way to see what's actually happening on a week-to-week basis for us. I'm Major Heaney. I'll be followed by Lieutenant Byler momentarily. But if you guys have questions, please look us up on the website, Minnesota State Mankato ROTC, and there's lots of ways to get in contact with us to just kind of show you what kind of opportunities we have. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is First Lieutenant Allie Beidler. I am an admissions officer with the United States Military Academy at West Point, out of New York, and thank you for joining us this evening. Next slide.
All right, so here's a quick overview. I know we're a little ways away from New York, so I'm going to try to bring West Point to you here. We were established in 1802 as the first military academy in the United States. There are 5 military academies total. We started as a fully engineering school, but we have since added humanities and social sciences to our curriculum as well. We are about an hour to 3 hours north of New York City, depending on traffic. Usually about an hour and a half you can get from the city up to us at West Point. At the very top of the picture, you can see a little bit of a gray box there. That is the Hudson River. On the other side of the Hudson River, there is a passenger train that runs straight down into Grand Central Station in New York City. So we have a water taxi to take cadets from one side of the river to other, so they can access airports, the city, and anything else along the train line that they would like to stop in any of those smaller communities. We have about 16,000 acres outside of what you're seeing here that we do most of our military training in, so lots of opportunity to hike some mountains as you're out there training as well. So in the picture depicted here, you can see this is where most of our cadet life at West Point happens. On the bottom, you're going to see most of our academic buildings, and as we go north in that picture, you will find mostly barracks space. All 4,400 cadets at West Point live in the barracks their entire 4 years with us at West Point. Our mess hall is nestled in there as well as a gym or a physical fitness facility for all the cadets to use. At West Point, every single cadet is on a full ride scholarship. We do not require a FAFSA, no financial information. If you are offered an appointment or admission to West Point, you are on a full ride scholarship. That includes room and board, your food, uniforms, books, backpack, laptop, anything that you need to be successful, it is provided for you. At the end of those 4 years, those 47 months, as long as you graduate, you will commission as a second lieutenant and go into the Army on active duty for at least 5 years. You are going to be prepared to be a great leader for the Army, and we ask that in exchange for that free tuition, and we'll actually also pay you to go to school. You're not going to get rich, but you'll have enough, what I like to call walking around money. Take care of your phone bill, Netflix, get Chipotle on the weekends, you'll have money for that. But to repay that, we ask that you go be a great leader in the Army for 5 years on active duty. Now, we are not able to offer any reserve or guard contracts, unfortunately. So if you are thinking about serving in the Minnesota National Guard or going Army Reserves, ROTC is definitely a better fit for you there. But once you get to that 5-year mark, if you decide I'd like to keep serving, you are more than welcome to do that. You can serve 15 years, 20, 25, whatever makes the most sense for you. But if you do decide, I think I'm ready to transition out of active duty life, you're more than welcome to do that. You will have 3 additional years to serve in the Guard or Reserve component. So if you'd like to come back home to Minnesota and serve with the Minnesota National Guard for those last 3 years, you can do that as well. Next slide, please. Here are a few rankings for you here. We have earned the number 3 public school designation for the 2025 year. We're very proud of that. We do very well in the STEM fields as well. I will bring you down under Princeton Review number 9 most accessible professors. We have about a 6-to-1 student to faculty ratio at West Point. So I like to tell interested students, if you think you're going to go to West Point and skip your 8 a.m. classes, be my guest. Let me know how that works out for you. But our professors, our instructors are really invested in your success. 70 to 75% of our instructors are on active duty, are in the active duty Army. They have at least a master's, if not a doctorate, in whatever it is they are teaching. So your calculus professor may be at West Point for 3 years teaching calculus, but you might see them later on in your career as a commander. They're going to teach you calculus, but they're also going to talk to you about what it looks like to be an Army officer in whatever branch it is you're interested in. They know they will probably cross paths with some of the cadets at West Point later in their career, so they really pour in to their cadets. Next slide, please. All right, a quick day in the life of a West Point cadet. Starting off in the morning, you will notice that we don't have a set physical training time like you will see in an ROTC program. Physical training is an individual responsibility for our cadets. So if you would like to wake up early in your personal time and knock out your workout then, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to weave it into your day or do it in the evening, you can do that as well. But the first place we need you to be Monday through Friday during the academic year is 650 at formation. That is where our entire corps of cadets, all 4,400 cadets, will gather, check in, put out any notes for the day, and then all cadets will move into the mess hall, which is like our dining hall, to eat breakfast together. 30 minutes later, all cadets have been fed and they are moving out to their first block of classes for the day. You can see here we have 2 blocks, a morning and afternoon block. You will not necessarily be in class that entire time, much like a regular college or university. A couple of classes in the morning, a couple of classes in the afternoon. At lunch, we will take another break, have a formation. Everybody will eat lunch together and then move into their afternoon classes. Now in the afternoon, you see an athletics block. Every cadet at West Point will play a sport of some kind. Now we are a Division I program, so if you would like to be recruited to play a Division I sport, please look us up and let us know, because our coaches have to recruit a little bit differently than a traditional college or university might. But if you're not a Division I athlete, that is okay. Most of our cadets are not. You can play club sports. Club sports are still competitive sports. They will travel and compete against other schools, but not at that Division I level. Good examples of club sports: equestrian, really interesting club sport that we have available. The marathon team. We actually just had a cadet this last week go and qualify and run the Boston Marathon. So if you like to run, you can do that on a competitive level and travel. Boxing. Our boxing team, very, very good, producing national champions. Whatever it is you're interested in competing in the club space, we probably have something that will fit your interest. Now, even if club sports don't sound like something you're interested in, we have intramural sports. Those are played against companies at West Point, so you won't necessarily travel, but they are still very competitive. A lot of bragging rights are on the line for those intramural sports. So whatever level of sports you would like to play or are able to play, you will fit that into the afternoon, Monday through Friday. We will not stop you most days of the week to gather for dinner except Thursdays. On Thursdays, the entire corps will eat together, but other days of the week, you have the ability to come and go as you please, grab food. Maybe you're working on a group project, studying, working out. You have time and space to kind of dictate your schedule as you see fit. You will also have activities in the evening time and sometimes into that athletic space as well. We have a skydiving club, a jump team. So if you're interested in learning how to jump out of a helicopter with a parachute, you can do that. We have musical ensembles, chess team, Model UN, military weapons team. It's a really neat opportunity to get your hands on some weapons that even I haven't seen in my Army career so far. Religious clubs and activities. Really whatever it is you're interested in, just like another college or university, we have those opportunities available for you. Now you see here, 23:30, 11:30 at night. You have to be back in your barracks room. You don't have to go to bed, but you have to be home. So this schedule looks a little bit different than maybe a traditional college or university student's schedule. We are going to ask a lot of you at West Point, and we want to make sure that you are developing the skills that you need to be successful all 4 years with us. So think of this schedule as more structured to keep you moving in the right direction. Think like bumpers in a bowling alley, right? You have some space to kind of figure it out, but at the end of the day, we want to get you to graduation being that great Army leader. Next slide, please. Here's a quick look at the majors we offer. Over 35 options here for you. About half of our cadets are STEM majors. The other half fall into the humanities and social sciences. For STEM, that very top left, you're going to see aerospace engineering. That is now a full major for us at West Point. I like to joke, you don't have to go to the Air Force Academy anymore if you want to study aerospace engineering, so we have that available now. For any cadets who are interested in going to medical school, most of our pre-med cadets are in biology. It's the best major to get all of the prerequisites in for them while they're at West Point. Help get some mentorship, prepare for the MCAT, and then head off to medical school. This last year, we sent 29 cadets to medical school, which is about 3% of our graduating class. So by the numbers, we do pretty well getting our cadets out to medical school, and that medical school is fully funded by the Army as well. It can be pretty expensive, so if you're interested in pairing military service as well as serving as a doctor, West Point might be a great fit for you. Down in the humanities and social sciences, a lot going on here. One, I would like to point out world languages. We don't list out all of our individual language majors, but there are a lot of options there as well. Now talking minors. We have 13 minors available. You can take a minor. You don't have to, but those are there for you. Now, all of these majors listed are Bachelors of Science majors. So even if you want to be an English major, a philosophy major, a history major, you will take enough math and science to earn that Bachelor of Science designation. Every cadet will take chemistry, physics, calculus. They'll take economics. Also included are some physical courses as well. Boxing. Every cadet takes a boxing class. Every cadet takes a swimming class. If you don't know how to swim, we do have a remedial swimming class called rock swimming. Hopefully you're not swimming like a rock by the time you get through that class, but we will prepare you to be successful in those physical classes in the same way we will prepare you to be successful in those academic classes. The first 2 years at West Point, you will take mostly core classes, those classes every single cadet has to take. During spring of your first year of your plebe years, what we call our freshmen, you will declare your major then. So if you don't know which of these majors you would like to take coming into West Point, that's okay. If you do know, that's great. But you will have to wait till that spring semester of your first year to declare that major. Getting into your third and fourth year, that's where you will see most of your major classes and electives pop up. So if you need to change your major at the end of the second year, you haven't really lost out because everybody's taking the same core classes before you jump into those major courses. Next slide, please. All right, I won't spend too much time here on military experience or training because a lot of it is going to sort of mimic what you're going to see in ROTC. It might just be a little bit longer, but you're still being exposed to the same sort of skill building, those Army skills, how to fire your weapon, how to wander around in the trees with a map and a compass and not get lost in land navigation. A lot of those basic skills. We just have you for a little bit longer at West Point to help develop those skills with you. I'm going to go down to that third and fourth summer. You heard about cadet troop leader training. Our cadets don't tend to spend quite as much time out in the forest with some new restructuring, but you'll get a couple weeks to kind of try some jobs, before you commit your Army career to them. Military qualification schools. Our cadets have these same opportunities to go to the same military qualification schools that ROTC cadets are going to. So you have access to both military qualification schools if you want to pursue ROTC or come to West Point as well. When we get down to individual advanced development, that really encompasses our internships and our study abroad, our exchange programs. For internships, if you want to intern with one of the lettered government agencies, if you want to go down to Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. as maybe a pre-med student to shadow a doctor down there and do some research for the summer, you can do that. What are some other good ones? Maybe working for a Fortune 500 company, maybe you're a management major and want to see what it looks like on the civilian side and work some problem sets for them. You will not be a coffee getter, a lunch getter in your internships. You will be tasked with real world problem sets to solve. Now for our military exchange, we have over 25 different options for cadets to go study abroad in other countries, whether that's a full semester. And maybe you don't want to do a full semester, but a week or two during spring break or summer might be a better fit for you. So we have opportunities there as well. I mentioned towards the beginning, this is a full ride scholarship. That includes your internships, your study abroad. So you're not going to have to pay out of pocket if you want to go study abroad for a semester. That is provided for you. Now maybe you don't want to go abroad, but you want to see what it's like at the United States Air Force Academy or the Naval Academy. You can spend a semester over there as well as an exchange student. So lots of different opportunities here to really craft your path while you're at West Point. Next slide, please. All right, branch opportunities. So you've come to West Point, you've done well, you've gone to your classes, been involved. Now it's time to decide, what am I going into in my Army career? All of these basic branches are the same for both West Point and ROTC. For us at West Point, anything you see in white, you can go directly into upon graduation. One difference from West Point to ROTC, if you're interested in being a lawyer, you have to go into the force in one of these basic branches before you can go off to law school. So that's one of the big differences there. Through this branching process for both West Point and ROTC, you have a lot of influence in where you end up in branching. You'll have basically an online resume, you'll interview with these branches. The branches will give you feedback to let you know this is how we view you as a future officer in our branch. And basically, they will rank all of their cadets, you will rank all your branches, and an algorithm will then match you up with a job. Now, people always ask, am I going to be forced to go into infantry if I don't want to be an infantry officer? As long as you show up and fill out your resume and do what you need to do, it is highly unlikely you are going to be in a job that you don't want to be in. This last cycle, I believe about 96% of West Point and ROTC cadets combined got one of their top 3 choices. When we open that to top 5, we're at about 98%. So what that tells me is, if you show up, if you interview well, if you put your best foot forward, you're probably going to end up where you want to be. Now, going into these follow-on career opportunities. More opportunity comes about the longer you serve in the Army. For most of these top 4 or 5, about 18 to 24 months into your Army journey as one of these basic branch officers, those opportunities become available for you to go assess into. At about the 6 to 8 year mark, there are additional functional areas that become available, more niche jobs in the Army. Marketing is a good example of that. With those functional areas usually comes more education, but the general rule of thumb is if the Army is going to give you time or money to go back to school, they're going to ask for a few more years of service on the back end. So something to kind of keep in mind as you navigate your Army journey, and if you're wanting to pursue additional education, that will usually just mean a few more years on the back end for your service. All right, next slide. Engagement opportunities with us here. You can connect with us by coming out to West Point and taking an admissions tour. We offer tours during the academic year as well as in the summer. So it's a great way to get out and really feel what it's like to be at West Point. Our team also does get out into the community and travel. Like I said, I support the Great Lakes. So I'm out traveling, meeting students in the Great Lakes who may not be able to get out to us, but to bring information about West Point and the admissions process. In addition to our team at West Point, we have a whole network of local volunteers who assist candidates throughout the process. So especially my juniors, your application will open February 15th of your junior year. You have all the way until January 31st of your senior year to get that application finished. In your application, you will see the contact information for your local volunteer that we call Field Force. They are well-trained volunteers to help usher you through that process, and they will also do an interview with you as part of the application process. So it's great to get that application open and make that introduction early to make sure that you have all the support you need as you go through. And last, we have the Summer Leader Experience, which is for those students who between their junior and senior year that summer, they can come out to West Point for 5 days and have an immersive experience. See what it's like to sleep in the barracks, eat in the dining hall, do physical, military, and academic training with candidates from across the United States. So if that is something you're interested in doing, definitely open your application early. Between February 15th and March 15th is our priority deadline. So if you'd like to be considered, get that application in, and then we'll hopefully see you at West Point that summer. We do also have social media, so it's a great way to see what's going on around West Point during different points of the year. So I would recommend checking us out there as well. Next slide. All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening to hear what ROTC and West Point has to offer. If you have any questions, please feel free to look us up online, and please let us know if you're interested and if we can be of assistance. Thank you.
Is it true West Point's number one? For everything? Yes.